Aware self-troll, here we go.
Yep, so I think, like, the only one that I'm pretty sure neither runner would really want to see is Can of Burner at the start. Because that just isn't a fun time.
No, it's not. And I've watched it, it's definitely stressful.
Now, here's an interesting one, because with the +5 capacity here, if Uncle, as we see, Desert was red crystal, the others were crystals. So 3 crystal light well, pretty good. If you actually get the 10 bomb from Uncle here, you're going to get 15 bombs, because what it actually does is just fill your bomb capacity up, however much you can carry. So if with that +5 at the start, this would actually be bombs instead. And that's what we're going to see. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good indeed. Plus, they won't have to worry about finding any bombs for the back passageway.
Right. You should, if you don't miss any bombs, you should be able to do escape with about 6 bombs used, I think it is. Because you've got 5 total for the guards that you need to kill with them, and then 1 for the rat. So, optimally speaking, you would have 9 left in this case, but having the +5 before getting bombs at the start gives a lot of leeway when it comes to missing bombs, especially against that rat, which is very elusive, shall we say.
Yeah, it's quite the handy amount of bombs. Even means that it's fairly unlikely we'll see the runner have to save quit to get more bombs. This should be plenty.
Yeah, because that is actually something which was sort of hotfixed in 29.2, as we say for it. I like Qairyl's strat here, actually. Gotta be careful, okay? I was going to say I like Qairyl's strat of checking the chest first, just in case there was a better weapon there, rather than having to immediately use bombs. These are challenging situations to deal with. But you notice that because Qairyl hasn't gotten down to Zelda yet, they actually have just gotten all of their bombs back. It's one of the safety features, if you will, with the V29.2, that if you have a limited resource weapon in your escape stuff at the start, you will get those, at least some of those resources back, depending on where your save quit point is in escape.
Yeah, it's a good thing to help with the soft lock situations that I imagine a lot of newer runners were definitely experiencing with this new format.
Yeah, especially with bombs only. You can see, yeah, definitely a challenging setup to run here.
Well, 50 rupees is pretty nice early on.
Yep, that basically takes care of all of the Kakariko stuff here. Qairyl has to be careful within this. Definitely well done with that room. It's just got to be careful because of the 1.5 hearts here. Bombs do a full heart of recoil to you, and if you're getting stabbed by the guards and stuff as well, this actually does become very troublesome. He's going out of the way. Yep, bombs, unfortunately not an easy thing to deal with here.
Thankfully, we at least have pots for the guard.
Yeah, the only problem with where Qairyl died here is that he didn't manage to get the key from the blue guard there, so he's going to have to go back and take that room out again. So every single guard still needs to be killed in his escape here, which is really unfortunate.
Well, I think he can skip the first one now, right? I think he just has it's just a key door in this first room.
I suppose, yeah, it is. So that's fine. That does at least remove some of the stress.
Yeah, it softens the blow a tiny bit. Pink, meanwhile, has Zelda and is making her way back upstairs. And having found the small key, there's at least something in the dark sewer room.
Yep, which is not too bad to find here. You're going to have to open it anyway, so it's almost a blessing if there's actually something that in there, so you can just go, well, I had to do it anyway, so it's fine. There we go, nicely done. And out the blue guard there. It's possible to throw bombs through that chest. I actually know that until I saw, I think it was DT doing that, where he threw bombs through that chest. I was like, oh, I could have sworn I tried to do that, but I think I did it the other way around. You can't throw bombs up through it, or at least I couldn't. But you can throw them down through the chest, which is interesting. You can trap the guard on the side.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting little quirk, I suppose, of that.
At least the one nice thing about this room here is that there are hearts in there as well, under the pots, so it's a nice full refill. And just a map in that chest, so everything else is an item in here.
Yep. And Qairyl now gonna bring Zelda back to where Pink is.
So at this point, if Qairyl was to save quit, would he still have the 12 bombs, or would he get plus the save quit? I'm not sure if it's just you get 3 bombs back, or you start with 3 extra than what you had when you quit.
I think it's just you get 3, but I wouldn't actually know for sure.
So yeah, the rat kind of giving Pink a little bit of trouble there. One of the better ways to try and deal with it does seem to just be going suicide on it, but oh, the body and the sword. Okay, a little bit of why didn't I get this earlier? It was so much more helpful, but no, can't complain about an early sword.
Nope, you definitely can't. Because having a sword at this point just makes everything else easier. Now, we are going to have to open the sanctuary chest here.
Yeah, this is one that even when it is just the map, you often will see people just open it to be completely sure, because there have been past tournament races decided by not opening that chest. So you never want to be that guy who just doesn't get the one obvious thing.
Now, you can technically skip it if you do count your items, but even then it's sometimes safe to double check, just because it doesn't really lose you any time to check that chest.
Alright, so Qairyl just got the rat to deal with at the end here. Be home free. 12 bombs isn't as a lot to deal with this rat, so long. Speaking of more bombs, Poultry giving bombs out here. A nice hot piece to start with as well. Yeah, just don't run into your own bombs, and obviously trying to keep track of where the rat has gone. The rat doesn't necessarily stay put for the same length of time. It gets on the 3rd shot, which is definitely good.
Silver's in the hut, the forest hut there.
Okay, so that's a pretty good offensive step once the bow is found.
Yeah, that's one less worry down the drain. No silverless this run.
Looks like green poultry is just small magic here. So probably not the most useful of poultry sets here. Like, the bombs are okay for the start, but the magic, not quite so useful here.
No, I think you were kind of hoping in this instance for some red rupees out of the tree.
Right, because even though you just got a 300, if you're looking at Zora as well, you kind of still need an extra 200 or so here. So if there's not another 300 at the start here, then you might well be a little bit short if you happen to find flippers. Okay, oh dear.
Oh dear indeed. That's
a little bit worrying. Seeing the cape there, we're only a lamp away from doing Agahnim right at the start. That's setting.
Yeah, whenever you have 2/3 of the Aga starter pack, you never feel comfortable.
Alright, so Qairyl is actually taking a slightly different route here and is going to go and check Lumberjack within this. Pretty decent play as well. Also remembering to check the poultry, which is pretty good. Might check? No, I'm not going to check the bushcrab. Okay.
Yeah, some runners will opt to wait on Bumper Cave until they have boots, just because even if they know what the item is, they can't get it for a while, but it's still important information.
Yeah. Oh, and then speaking of extra 300s, there is another one. So money not at oh no! Oh, I don't like the looks of that.
Yeah, boy.
So, so at this point, it's not guaranteed. It's never guaranteed that it's going to be an Agaseed until you have no other options. But your only items are the ones that get you through the tower right now. You've got to be thinking, this is most likely going to end up being Agahnim required. When do I go to it?
I believe the statistics right now is it's like a 1 in 4 chance or something like that to get an Agaseed.
It's not the highest it's ever been, in all honesty, but it is still relatively high. Mushroom too.
Not really a convenient time to turn that in right now.
No, but I reckon, knowing what I know about Pink's playstyle, she's probably gonna go ahead and turn that in straight after seeing what's down here after the save quit. So that if it turns out to be nothing like that library ledge there, then she could just hard reset and keep the mushroom or fate powder later on.
This is true. The fake powder glitch can be quite the time saver sometimes. We still need the Cane of Samaria for that, but it definitely can make or break a race if there's something on Magic Bat and the powder is very out of the way.
Just a heart piece. Gotta pick it up anyway. No reason not to at this point when you're already this far committed to getting it.
And we'd probably like a few more hearts at least before settling on enough health.
Right. Especially on Green Mail. Alright, so it looks like Pink is going to turn in that mushroom. Interesting to see this just being done without the bomb to set this up. So you have to basically be 1 pixel away from the edge of the screen in order to get Fate Flippers to work in the first place. And that's pretty awkward to do in that particular spot. Unlike the South Shore, there's not really a convenient way of setting that one up. There's not much of a visual reference to go on. But
No,
if... Go on. I was gonna say, if you use a bomb to set it up, then you can actually get the bomb to push you to the very edge of the screen, so you are definitely 1 pixel away. And that is usually the way that I see that set up. If you can do it quickly, I guess it's faster. Yeah, comes the hard reset. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that particular fake flipper before. It's a good use of it to get the mushroom turned in fast.
Yeah, it's one of those that if you can do it quickly, it will save you time over just walking up there, because there's not really a convenient place to walk from. It's where are you going to go? You're going to go from Sanctuary, you've got to walk all the way down to the bottom of that and then across the grave. If you start from Link's house, that's even worse because you've got to go up to Octorok Valley, I guess, and just go up from there. It's just really slow. But if you can swim to it using the Fate Flipper quick enough at setting it up, then you can save a decent bit of time there.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's the cane.
So if we get Hammer, then we actually can Fate Powder check the Magic Bat, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, quite interesting. And that's also an important item for T-Rock and Mire, so...
And potentially Ganon's Tower. That's another one that many a race gets decided on if it turns out that Samaria is not needed for Crystal Dungeons, but it is for Ganon's Tower. Hey, Blue Man.
Good damn.
So it seems like Qairyl is also just blind checking the race game here. Neither of them, I think, checked it beforehand. Interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, if there is something important at the race game, it saves you time, but since there often isn't something important at the race game, you more often than not waste a little bit of time.
Qairyl's got to be careful when he gets back in here, because he did save and quit when jumping down, so he needs to jump off a ledge here to make sure that, as he will, but he needs to make sure to jump off the ledge so as not to trigger the exploration glitch accidentally from that.
Well, there's the mirror in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Okay,
that would also give Magic Bat access once we have Dark World access.
If you have Titan's Mate, yes. So that's pretty. Also, if we get just one glove, Tower of Hera as a crystal is actually beatable with these conditions. So, although good luck doing bootsless Moldorm, that's not fun, but it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have 3 Dark World pendant dungeons, so a good number of items are going to probably be invalidated when we get to Dark World.
Right, a lot of this is going to end up being, what items do I not? And then you can work out what go mode actually is from there. Because we could be looking at anything from a seed where Fire Rod is not necessary, to that Cane of Samaria might not be necessary, Flute, and even that mirror itself might not be necessary.
Yep, there's a lot. By proxy, medallions may also not be necessary.
Absolutely. So, whilst Qairyl's checking out the Moldon Cave as well, looks like Pink is actually going to Fate Flipper here.
Won't be able to get into Waterfall Fairy's Cave, but she will be able to check the Hobo and Zora, although Zora actually isn't in Logic currently. Interestingly enough.
No glove and no flippers, so using the classic NMG setup to get the Fate Flippers there.
Mm.
So this is the sort of play that you would normally associate with past versions. I think version 25 was the latest that you would normally have seen this, where that was before Waterfall Fairy became a thing. But now that it is a thing and you can't get the chest there unless you can waterwalk glitch with either Moonpearl or Pegasus Boots, you don't commonly see this Fate Flipper done anymore.
Yeah. I actually wonder if she'll just check Hobo, just because he's inconveniently placed, but it does look like she is going to go for Zora too.
Interesting.
Whatever she gets here is going to be as sequenced until she finds either flippers or a glove.
I say, good job from Qairyl there, not getting completely mauled by the crabs. I saw 2 or 3 of them surrounding him there, so...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Scary.
That's a different way of doing it. Alright, so instead of actually going... I'm not sure if that's faster than save quitting. Actually,
Sure
just
either.
Fate Flippering away from Hobo to come up and do Easton. I want to say the save quit is probably faster, as what Qairyl is just going straight here, not even going for Hobo. But, interesting play nonetheless.
Yeah, I would imagine save quitting is maybe like a couple seconds faster than that, since you are not dealing with a bunch of screen transitions or a fade transition.
Green Pendant in Swamp, that could be good. As you can see the sort of time difference here now. You see potions. You see Qairyl's actually going ahead and checking the mushroom by walking. You can see just how big of a difference as well. That was Boots and Moonpearl, right?
Yep, that is nearly vanilla Boots.
Go figure that just after you are done with the stuff down the bottom where you could use the water walking tools, they are both there. But hey, it's early Boots. I know Pink loves her boots. Just never gets a chance to use them in this version. So very good to see that they are there.
Yeah, I imagine she'll take whatever she's given at this point, which is also going to lead into a check in the Eastern Palace here.
Alright, so Qairyl has lost his mushroom at this point. He's not concerned at all about the Fate Powder. Maybe doesn't necessarily know the glitch. It's not one that commonly comes into play. So he's just taken the heart container and is just going with as is. That is also perfectly fine. Heart container is always really good right now. But if that magic powder isn't available anywhere and Magic Bad does somehow have something, as uncommon as it might be, that could spell a lot of trouble here.
That it could.
Also, looking at this even more now, there's even more of a reason to go Aga really soon here, because you've got the Moonpearl now, so you can just do... Now, Palace of Darkness stuff is not the nicest of checks, but it could be what's forced here if there's no glove, or even... Well, Hookshot by itself doesn't even do anything. There's no tool to get to the other side of Dark World yet.
Yeah, we could need... They'd probably like to find at least one other item before having to make that play, because, yeah, we do still need a glove. For all we know, it could be a get a glove and mirror up to Zora type shenanigans. But either way, they'd like left side Dark World access, ideally prior to having to do Agahnim, but they're running out of checks, so it's looking less and less likely they're going to be able to have that.
The hope, at least, would be to get a bottle before going, because with the new potion glitch, and the hammer does kind of work too. With the potion glitch in play, that's actually a much better thing for it too. You can check all of Palace of Darkness except Helmasaur himself by using a potion in the bow lock side in order to dislodge the camera, make it so that the killing the red mimic doesn't actually matter. And that can come, and I have seen it a couple of times in these races come into play already. So you'd at least like that before you're forced into checking Palace of Darkness.
This is true. Now, why does it only work on that one room? Is it, I guess, probably because there's rooms nearby that first mimic room that the camera can actually transition to?
I'm not entirely sure. I guess it would have something to do with the way that only some rooms actually lock the camera in place. And there's probably other rooms that it can be used in, but it doesn't functionally do. Like, there's not really any benefit to doing it.
That is true.
All the mini Starfest appearing here.
Yep, and Pink checking block rocks finds red mail.
Okay, not quite what you're after. But at least you're well protected for the rest of this one.
Now, do you take a 50-50 on Agahnim prior to Agahnim?
I would be more inclined to check Zora than I would be to check Agahnim myself, because I know it's out of the sequence, but just the fact that you can go and check it, I have seen it several times where sequence breaking that has been a key to avoiding Aga, but it looks like Pink is just having none of that and is going straight for it. I do not blame her.
I don't either. Typically, if you need to kill Aga, it's going to be fairly obvious like it is here, and you're just going to want to take care of it. But she probably, given what she has now with the hammer, actually she can't reach the south side. She may not even need flippers.
Yeah, the hammer actually does give a fair few other things to check now, because unlike just getting a glove or just getting the flippers, the hammer actually will let you go towards Hype Cave. Oh no, Qairyl! Well, luckily there was only a compass in there, but if he goes back for that now, that is a big time sink.
Looks like it is.
Yeah, that's rough. That is really rough.
Very.
The way you're supposed to do that room is to kill all the other enemies, and then the anti-fairies kind of disperse off of that. But obviously that takes quite a long time, so you can damage boost through it instead. He doesn't have the magic to use the cape damage boost, to just ignore it instead. So having to just go for the boost, it's always unfortunate when you see stuff like that coming into play, because that is such a big time sink.
Yeah, I think he lost like 2 or 3 minutes because of that, because he's got to make his way all the way back to that room.
Right, and every time he goes through this room, the way he does it, he's not getting any of the mini Starfos despawns, so that takes additional time killing 4 of them. So yeah, it adds up very quickly. You can see with the hammer, not a huge amount of trouble going through the Aga Tower here. Do have to watch this room a little bit, because the hammer is atrocious in terms of range. There's no shield at the moment, so the spears are... And you still have to hit them twice with the hammer. Yeah, and the spears blocks it a lot as well.
At least she got something more than just the fire sword to use for this ascent, because trying to kill the enemies in this area with just fire sword is typically annoying.
Right, and the hammer breaking the pot that she was going to use for defense there. Alright, Qairyl did get the... Is he going... Nah, yeah, just realizing, wait, there's nothing else I can...
I don't know why you'd mirror out.
I wonder... this is going to end badly if things on this. I think he's going to look at Portal 5, and yeah, he's just realized, wait, I can't actually go that way, there's no glove.
Yep. Pink, meanwhile, has reached Agahnim. There is a small little guessing game we play here with Aga 1, in which we try to guess how many blue ball shots he will fire in the fight. The number can be anywhere from 0 to 15, and the average is typically 3. Given the nature of how this is started, I'm thinking 4.
Oh, get a bit too close. Oh well, all bets are off now because we're gonna have one extra cycle off of this. Oops.
Yeah.
Playing a little bit too close there. So Qairyl does. Well, there's the first one. Qairyl does get his red mail. Not entirely sure where he wants to go at this point.
I think his mind is saying, no, it's not saying King's Tomb. Then where is he going?
My hope is that there isn't a case of where how can I get into Aga Tower here. I don't think there will be, but looks like we're probably going to get a Guinness K first. Pink does have to be a little bit careful here. They're getting rather close to dying off of this fight because of that electrocution at the start.
Yeah. Takes her time, she should be fine. Aga has like 1 or 2 hits left.
I always found it kind of weird how, you know, your Master Sword is built up to be the Sword of Evil's Bane, and yet you get it and you're instantly told, wait, can't kill this he into it somehow. It's like, look at all these extra blue balls coming out. She's down to half a heart here.
Oh boy. Yeah, she's gonna need to hope she hits him soon.
There we go.
He was on his last hit, so the actual count, if this was a perfect fight, would have been 3, I believe.
Oh, and there's Master Sword there. That's an interesting one. Okay. So that will make the Aga Tower climb easier for Qairyl.
Yeah, and I wonder when Pink's gonna get that sword. It's gonna probably be a little while.
Yeah. At the very least, Desert is required, so there is a decent chance that will get picked up. Yeah, these blue guards right here are so annoying when you're trying to hammer dash through there.
Yeah, they're very aggressive. It doesn't make things any easier.
Yeah.
So Pink is going to do these Southern Dark World checks first, which makes sense because after save quitting, after doing these small checks, she's just going to be put right back on top of the pyramid.
Yep, that's actually a pretty good way around to doing it. Plus, you might get the bow down here, so you could actually do Palace of Darkness. I don't think we've seen a map check yet, so I don't know what we're looking at in terms of requirement. We just have a whole bunch of money in here, though. I suppose this is a Thieves hideout, right? So
yeah. And there was a blue cane to be had as well, so both invulnerability items have been acquired.
yeah, not a very exciting hype cave, if I'm being honest.
No, this is why everybody debates whether or not it should even be called Hype Cave anymore.
I have found it in general to be a lot better than it was in the past few versions, though. So I don't know. I'm still mostly a believer at this point. And speak of the bow.
Speak of the bow, and it shall appear. She could compare Eastern's remainder with that too if she goes for Pod.
Unfortunately,
Pod's a pendant,
though.
As a
Alright.
skull.
So Maya Desert at 5/6. That's pretty interesting. And we knew about Swamp Palace being green pendant.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an unfortunate set of dungeons to have as your pendant ones here.
Interestingly, it's in the vanilla game, the first 3 dungeons you'd probably go after.
Yeah. In terms of the order the game recommends, which is a terrible order. Don't ever do it that way. But still, that's the way the game wants you to do it on your first playthrough. So, okay. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting way of thinking on it. Now, I hope that doesn't mean that the hookshot is going to be really hard to find because of Swamp being a pendant.
Yeah, that can always be a troublesome thing. 8 digs for a heart container is not terrible at dig game.
Really wasn't anything in that area, though, other than the bow. So I think Palace of Darkness, despite being a pendant, is going to have to be where you go here.
Yeah, because I want to say there's still an item left in Eastern.
Yeah, I think there is, because if I remember rightly, the map was the second item found. It was either the first or the second, and the big key was the other one. So I'm pretty sure there is one
I
there.
believe it was the first, so yeah, there is at least one more item in the possession of the Arbos Knights. Maybe take care of that first, just while you're there, and then check pod until you find something interesting.
Right, because the idea would normally be if you could do the Light World dungeon second, you could flute away, but there's obviously no flute, so there's no chance to keep it nice that way. What you do need to do first, though, is get Palace Darkness opened up, because if you mirror out here before you get Kiki to the dungeon, Kiki will give you some good text box and then just disappear, and you gotta go find him again after Eastern, so
Yeah,
definitely get that.
Kiki, very important.
He's a fickle mo. But it looks like Tink is just going to Palace Darkness first, which also makes sense.
I suppose another good thing to note for the runners at the very least is Ped is still a few items away from being even relevant.
Ooh, this was bowlogged, so good job in the ordering here.
Yeah, very good. She would have been stopped dead in her tracks. And with silvers, it's just going to make for a quick dungeon.
Yeah, and the other nice thing is with Pegasus boots here, you can actually just dash into bombs here and just get rid of them, no problem. So you don't even have to switch items from the bow in this bit. It's real.
Figures the one time you have the good items for this dungeon, you don't have to do it per se.
Yeah. Nice bow dash off there as well. That's something I've been trying to do myself at this point, because I don't know if it's actually faster, but it really does look cool. So it's worth it just because of that.
Yeah, item dashing with pretty much any item has a little bit of a cool kind of swag factor to it.
Well,
Speaking of swag duck.
Hey, I was saying about the flute, but since it's not activated, you can't go over it. And Qairyl getting through his Aga fight here. There's a bunch of blue balls coming up this, unfortunately, but should have fewer than Pink did, because I don't think Qairyll's missed a shot yet, so...
Yeah, the number would have been 3, I believe, if he had not missed any, and yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, because there were 3 in a row during the last cycle, the extra cycle even, so kind of unfortunate the way that goes. Oh. Alright, so which way is Qairyl going to go through this? That is the question.
If he goes to pod first, he will have to back up and do the rest of the stuff first.
He's just sort of thinking, it's like, wait, I can't go up there because I don't have gloves. Yeah, good man.
Alright. That's good for him. I guess Pink wanted the heart prior to mirroring.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're gonna potentially look at doing the hammer here or ease of use. So with the mirror, it's not quite as important, but one sort of nice technique for getting through this dungeon, if you do have the big key from the first part, is the hammer jump can actually make it a lot more effective at doing the big old loop round here. Because even if there's only a small key in the Harmless Hellway, going down from Harmless Hellway just takes you into the room Pink was just in. So yeah, looks like we might actually be seeing that here.
Yep.
Oh, that's not going to explode the wall on the other side.
No, but she's probably just hoping to get over there at this point,
Yeah.
which she did.
And there's the flippers. Okay, that is worrying in the sense that Swamp Palace is getting very close.
Yeah, it was a required item, though. We did need it for Ice Palace. And there's a bottle. No potion in it.
No, but it'll be good to check Sick Kid when you also go to flute activation. So that'll be nice.
Yep.
You got to imagine once Palace of Darkness and Eastern are done, flute activation is probably going to send up Death Mountain. And I'd imagine Qairyl will do the same as round to it. Death Mountain would be the fairly obvious play because apart from just a lot of items up there, Hera is a crystal that you can clear, and you have the hammer to get to the east side. So lots and lots of stuff to do up there at the moment.
It's still very surprising we have not found the glove yet.
Yeah, I've seen and been involved commentary-wise in a couple of seeds where gloves have just been non-existent throughout the whole thing, so hopefully that's not the case here as well, but yeah, as it turned out, there had to be something in that chest, because looking at Pink's key situation there, she had two small keys. Qairyl? Okay. So Qairyl save quit after mirroring, so he's going to have to go back to the two.
Yeah. It's not a long walk, but he will have to walk back to the front gate.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating.
And unfortunately for Pink here, Helm does actually have an item, so she's just going to go take him out.
Yep. Even so, I would say getting 2 required items out of here is pretty good going for the Pendant Dungeon.
Yeah, very much so. And hey, you don't have to come back over to this neck of the woods ever again unless you have to get that green pendant for something.
Yep. Can gloves be on the pedestal? Yes, actually. If we find the fire rod and the hookshot fairly early, 1 set of gloves could be on the pedestal. Because there's nothing that needs Titansmith that is a pendant dungeon. So, yeah.
That's a really good point, and getting to Skull without gloves is just a big roundabout with the hookshot.
Oh, got a little bit too close in there with the turtles. This room is really annoying, actually.
Yeah, there's no really good way to set up that room.
Not when you have fighter sword only. If you've got master sword, at least you can do a spin attack to wipe out 3 or 4 of the turtles.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like Qairyl here is also going to bring Kiki over to the pod, and Pink is on Helm.
So, 17 hits with the hammer. Kind of annoying when the fireballs get in the way, but with red mail, everything's only doing half a heart here, so there's not really any chance of dying. It's just how inconvenient can this fight be, basically.
Nope, and 1 arrow to the head.
Oh.
But it missed. There we go.
Helposaurus is an elusive fellow.
Little bit, yeah.
Okay, just money here, but that's still fine.
Thank you for coming to pod here. Have your entrance fee back.
And then all of the rest of it picked up in the outer Helmosaur area. That's what I always found interesting, actually, is coming in here, you could actually feasibly come in here to make some money. You got enough to get in the first place, because there's at least 300 rupees in that back part. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So Pink's gonna go down take care of Armos and get whatever item they have and their crystal.
Forgetting that she's already gone through here a little bit. I do that from time to time as well.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory, instinct, routine, whatever have you, that drives you on the path that you normally take through a dungeon, thinking you haven't come in before. Happens to the best of us.
Where did Qairyl do the Bolot side first and then mirror out? Oh, he did. Okay, interesting.
Interesting way to go about it. And well, he's gonna get the big key now.
Yep, nice and easy arrows to pick up on the way there. Not too far out. It's always interesting just knowing where all the resources are. It can make a massive difference when you're kind of running a little bit low on stuff. Just where all the arrows are, where your bomb drops are, where magic stuff is, especially in places like Ice Palace. Very important to know where your resources are kept.
Yeah, it's very important to know where the small resources like that are, and it's also fairly important to know where small keys are. Typically the first thing any runner will learn is just what pots have small keys under them or what enemies, because it can help with routing a dungeon.
Right. Looks like Qairyl's being turned around a little bit by the front of the pod here. It has now effectively checked everything except this big key chest, which I think was a small key, right?
That it was.
Because there has to be 4 small keys in the first 6 available items, including Bowlock section.
Magic boomerang on the Armos.
Well, that would make me rather unhappy, but Pink likes boomerangs, so I guess that works out.
Yes, she quite does. That particular one, too.
Alright, so safe quit time, go for activation, and away we'll go, probably up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, unless Sick Kid has something like substantial on him, this is a call to go straight up the mountain.
What could he have that would actually change the route here? Maybe a book? To potentially consider desert instead? That's about the only thing I can think of that would be monumental enough here.
Well, a glove would at least open up Skull and Thieves Town, which are right here. But
yeah,
you probably need a little more incentive than that with how much Death Mountain has on it.
yeah, and I mean, the glove, it's nice, but it still doesn't make it particularly quick to go and do Thieves Town stuff here. You really want the Titansmith for that, because going all the way up back of the Lost Woods and whatnot, it's just a little bit awkward, really.
Yeah.
Right, what do we got? Just a green rupee. Okay, so yeah, the only other thing that I could have considered, would have considered seeing there would have been that fate powder. I'm actually gonna go see this first. Okay, it is a pretty straightforward check to do.
And it does look like she's going to go up to Gina as well quickly, and that will get her a Master Sword.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess this does make some sense, because when she's done here, if she wants to save quit, she can just flute up the mountain.
Right, and it's one of those really annoying places to go and check. And if this had something big like a glove, then it would actually be quite the pain to like consider going here otherwise. So I'm not going to see the save quit. The menu's already onto the flute, so just going to dash out instead.
Yeah.
Probably for the better, actually, because without the old man spot being accessible, you'd have to go out from Sanctuary, and I don't think it really makes much of a difference in terms of time. So, okay.
He is in logic now with the flippers.
Yep. Meanwhile, Qairyl looks like they're going to continue through the rest of Palestine this year as well. That's a nice bomb, getting rid of all the hard hat beetles there.
Yeah.
Alright. So it looks like we probably got away with the whole having to do Agahnim. The only way this doesn't work out is if there's something like on the ledge here, like the other glove, and the other glove. There hasn't been any glove yet, so nope. Okay, so if Zora doesn't have one, then it looks like Aga was the play after all.
Yeah, it's like we've had no full dark world access outside of that particular choice up to this point in time.
Okay, so even if you tried to sequence break it, you would have to do Agahnim. That's fair. Alright, now this one is an interesting one. When you've already got red mail, kind of interesting going for the heart container here.
I guess her thought may have been, I'm leaving by walking out anyways, I may as well grab it.
Yeah. If you really want the heart container, that's a fair way of doing it. If you don't necessarily need the heart container, then safe quitting would obviously be a way. But let's see how Qairyl handles this turtle. Waiting at the start. That's actually a pretty good way of dealing with it.
Yeah, he wanted to get as many of the turtles lined up as he could.
Getting the nice flip on the one trying to sneak attack from behind as well. That's all to see too. Yeah. Well handled.
So Pink now has the old man, going to be bringing him back to his cave, which will unlock A, the important start location from save quits, and B, will net another item.
Right, and if you're looking for a full heal, this is actually the quickest save quit point to start from using the flute, because the old man is just as quick to get to as the priest or Zelda, and you don't have to walk or dash all the way down again there. It's a much shorter distance. I love the bomb strat there as well. Yep, gotta remember to go and check this too. It doesn't look like it was anything special, just a red rupee.
And helm down for Qairyl.
Nice. So it'll just be a nice quick finish off Eastern Palace here, and then probably follow what Pink is doing here.
Yep. Now, I do wonder if on this particular pass, Pink is going to consider Spike Cave, because it is in logic.
I think if you're going to consider Spike Cave, you definitely don't want to do it in this situation until you have checked everything else you can.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually do it at the moment since you don't have a glove. That's always the thing.
I
can't do it.
forgot there was a block at the end of that cave.
Yep. I've done it a few times myself in runs. It's pretty annoying. But the other reason why I want to do it is because you will be save quitting out of Spike Cave, and you've beaten Naga and you have the mirror. So if you save quit out of there, you're going to be on top of the pyramid, and that's probably not where you actually want to be starting.
Yeah, not currently at least. You want to get through the mountain for all it's worth first.
Yeah. So
a little bit of an unfortunate fall there. Gotta readjust the camera so she can hit the color switch.
Yep. Yeah, that's one situation where the bow is actually kind of useful, because the bow can still shoot off screen there too, and hit that. The fire rod can also do that, but stuff like the boomerang can't. So it's actually possible to soft lock yourself there if you don't have them. So you do need to be careful when it comes to that particular setup. Qairyl's having a little bit of issue getting the key here. Not using the arrows on the Agahnim, probably just because he activated both at the same time. So
I think it's more so because his arrow count is a single arrow right now.
And there's the glove. But there's 10 arrows in this room.
True. And yeah, that glove is definitely something Pink's been looking for a while now.
Kind of interesting that Qairyl actually didn't pick up any of the arrows in that room. This might just be another one of those situations where you're just not really sure what's in those pots. So luckily, if he did run out, there are 5 in this room. But still, it's looking like Eastern Palace is one of the few places that has a lot of arrows to go with. And because you can't necessarily get arrows from the Igors anymore, you definitely want to get as many as you can. Actually doesn't have enough arrows to do the armors fight here.
I wonder if he didn't pay attention to his arrow count here, because now he's going to have to...
Nope, he's just tried to shoot twice, and nothing comes out. So yeah, I think that is just a case of just not noticing the arrow count there. Whoops!
So Pink just found the key on Trolldorm.
Aww.
And
we gotta do basement.
I believe there's an item down there. I didn't actually see her pick up the compass, but based on the bomb placement at the top of the tower...
Taking the chance, not gonna go for it. Okay. I can understand why. You've already found 1 item in there. There's only 2 in general. You'd be thinking, well, there's probably nothing else in there.
Yeah, Qairyl here not going to have to kill Armos the very tedious way of slicing him with sword. Hammer, I don't think it's going to speed this up all that much.
It would if you can land it every time, but it's not the easiest of things to do. I've never really tried to do this, so...
Well, it never comes up because you typically pay attention to your arrow count.
Well, true, but... I mean, it could come up in entrance with, like, Ice Armors.
True, and it could come up with the Ice Armors as well. Got through it, though.
Good stuff. It was
Probably
looking a little sketchy.
Yeah, he's probably kicking himself a little bit, though, for not realizing he ran out of arrows.
Mm-hmm. This is something I think Christos has said quite a bit on his own streams, that... nice tempered sword. The 10 arrows that Qairyl would have loved to have had. It's something Christos has said a lot on his own streams, that... Sometimes what separates runners is just the knowledge of keeping track of your resources and knowing where to go and get them when you're running low. And this is one of those cases where it came into play quite a bit.
Yeah.
Lots of hearts, not a lot else.
Now, did Pink do Spiral, or did she just jump
Yes.
down the mountain?
No, Spiral Cave was done first, and it looks like the reverse up to Spike Cave is what's going to happen here now.
Yep.
Because that bomb jump makes it much quicker to go and do, and also you double check what's on there. Tink just jumped straight down to Spiral, didn't go and check what was at the top first. So.
Yeah.
Okay, going back in. Yep, beware self-trolls. Not going to. As that just wanted to do the other stuff first. I can respect that.
Makes sense.
I think if I was going to commit to doing it, I probably would have just done it first time round, so I wouldn't have to walk up the stairs again. But at the same time, sometimes just getting a change of scenery off it, just venting of, oh, I'm gonna have to do this anyway. I may as well just look elsewhere a little bit first, just to get the change off it. Because yeah, it's pretty frustrating when you've gone all the way up. You had no chance to do the bomb first. Skypo's realizing I can't dash with the old man here.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. He doesn't have speed
I
juice.
think he's the only NPC in the game you cannot dash with, other than the bomb or the chest, because it will leave you.
Yeah, he's the only one that actually slows you down if you try and dash with.
Alright. Pink took a moment to stretch, maybe, think about where she's going next.
Yeah.
But I only got arrows.
Yeah, feels pretty typical, but at the same time, it's one of those, it's a Schrodinger's chest in that sense. If you don't check it, it's going to have what you need, like the ice rod or something.
Yeah.
That totally hasn't come up past tournament. What are you talking about? But if you do check it, it has nothing. So, yeah.
The same logic can apply for things like Ice Rod Cave and the Mimic Cave chest here.
Yep. This cave has actually been really fruitful in recent times, so
yeah, it has
interesting
been.
to see. As it looks like Qairyl's actually just going straight for it rather than doing Tower Hera first. That's an interesting situation. Gotta be careful on the magic though. Oh dear, no.
He also has no glove. He forgot about that.
Yep, that's the thing.
Just as I did.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy to forget about stuff like that, and now, because of being in the Dark World, you're stuck here. You can mirror away, obviously, but yeah, not happy about that at all.
Yeah, he is upset having forgotten about that.
And then getting punished because of Agahnim being defeated as well. It's a frustrating setup. Luckily, has the flute to easily get out of here, because otherwise, it'd have had to mirror slightly further out.
Yeah. So Pink here, fully aware that this really only opened up Skull and Thieves.
I'm
And
disappointed she didn't get a magic back for the tree there, but that's just me.
Yeah. There's a couple other small locations she can check too, like she can route the rest of the North Dark World at this point, but we'll see. She's opting to check inside Skull first.
It's an interesting choice to go from the front door here rather than drop down the left pit. Gonna get away with it, but yeah, well, get away with it's probably the wrong way of putting it, but it's like if there's not a small key there, then getting to these two chests is a lot more. And yeah. I don't know, it's a weird sort of situation. Just get to the bombs off of that.
Typically, that's where you'd find the key, at least with my past experience.
Right, exactly.
Just the map.
Yep. Also, a little bit of knowledge there, seeing the heart under that part. That's another one that is very easy just to not realize is there, or just like completely forget about it. It's good to see.
And she is going to check this back room, in particular probably because she has the cane and the mirror to make this trip incredibly quick.
Yep. Nice and effective. Nothing else, though. So, Moth has almost definitely got the last item, which is almost always the case for me in this version, so...
Yeah, I think the items left that have yet to be obtained were the big key, the item, and the compass.
Yep. So if I had to take a guess, it would probably... Oh, no, gonna do Bumper Cave as well. Just check it as well. Interesting. Probably saving that for later on because the other route that she can do, really, the only other route is north Dark World. So probably after doing Thieves Town is she's going to end up going up.
Yeah, do
Go
all the
there.
north, go all the way to Catfish, just take every location off the list. Although she may choose to check the bat with the powder fake as well,
Yeah.
which would be a little inconvenient.
Qairyl gets his glove, probably really, really annoyed about Spiral Cave at this point.
Although I'm saying that, and again, she doesn't have Titan Smith. She can't actually check bat yet.
She can, she just has to do it from the light one. Because you
Oh,
got the hammer, so...
Yeah, that kind of slipped my mind.
It's fine. It's really easy to forget when you're trying, especially when you're doing it as a sequence break. It's really easy to forget just what you actually need here.
Yeah.
Qairyl's about to take a modem. There's the hook shot. Oh dear.
Good news. We can get to the end of the game. Bad news. We are missing a fire rod to check Fed.
Bad news. We have Pendant Swamp coming up.
That too. There's nowhere else to go currently.
Nope. So, oh dear. Not the order of items that you want to be seeing here if you're paying.
Now, Qairyl also now has that small key off Moldworm, and is going to have to decide what he does with that. While all the major dungeon items in the front of Thieves Town, like they normally would be.
Yeah, so at least... Oh, Ken's shot as well. I really don't like that guy down there. Yeah, getting the everything except the small key at the front, it's just frustrating. So Qairyl going to set up for his break here as well. Nice easy bomb. Does get it, so that's good. Be disappointed with the end result, but at least leaving nothing behind.
Pink also got a very clean dash through that particular hellway. Doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, there's a little bit of RNG to it at the best of times, but admittedly, that is something I am not very good at personally, is getting through that in one dash. The so-called God Pixel. Should probably actually look into it a little bit and see about setting up probably. But hey, there's speaking of the fire rod. Oh dear.
Well, you definitely go to Swamp after this, but I guess depending on everything else, you may just do Skull and Blind Pull because very convenient timing.
It's a very unfortunate way around, though, because having checked Skullwoods first, and then it turns out that the thing to do Skullwoods was in the Crystal Dungeon. Very unfortunate thing here, but it's just the way it goes. You know, if you don't do it that way around, then it's very easy to say it's just going to be hanging out. And Skullwoods was just quicker to get to, wasn't it? So
yeah, it's a small time loss, nothing too drastic. But yeah, when we finish this particular dungeon, unless we find the book, the remaining crystals we need are all Titan Smiths locked.
Unfortunately so, yeah. Hey, that's quick.
Which means the small key has locked itself in?
Yep, because Blind cannot have a small key, otherwise this dungeon could soft lock.
Yeah, I questioned that before and then realized that, yeah, you can soft lock very easily with that.
Yeah, because you just don't actually go upstairs. You get the key and then you continue on down. And if Blind has got the key, you can never actually trigger the fight because you don't get to go upstairs and blow this wall up, or the floor up. So, you know, you never get to trigger the Blind fight.
Yeah.
So, Qairyl getting the Tempered Sword. Not too bad. I would say it's the only thing that's up here, but then there was at least 2 hearts, so the shield as well. Doing so well to avoid those, but Blind just made it so that you can't ever.
Clean Blind, though.
Yep.
And yeah, with that, Qairyl now has his matching set of boomerangs.
Yeah, he does. He did get the other one as well. So I was thinking, what do I actually do here? Do I go back and do Spiral Cave? Do I loot out of here?
I'm going to guess, based on what he did there, that he either does not know the bomb jump or is gonna just float away.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Wait, did Tink? No, she couldn't have checked it because...
She's doing it in... I guess she's not doing catfish.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I would have probably done it just to take it all out.
Yeah.
Although I did just something else I think just occurred to me. Well, first off, there's those.
Favorite location. Titan's Mint in King's Tomb is my undisputed favorite location to find them because it is one of those that you've actually got a puzzle solve out in order to get them. That's fantastic.
But it occurred to me she never checked Lumberjack, so she might just be riding over there.
Yeah, that's also fair. I don't know, I just would have liked to have seen it on the way through personally, but it's not mattering too much at the moment. If we don't need another medallion, we're an ice rod away from go mode, correct?
Yes, but that can also be on ped.
Yep, oh absolutely.
The freeze ray seems to be a commonplace because it just can be anywhere.
Right, and there was a point where it was the #1 most common. I don't know nowadays because I haven't looked at the stats in that sort of degree, but it did used to be the most common item that was at pedestal was the ice rod.
Yeah, I can imagine. And yes, she is coming up here to Bumper Cave. Not Bumper Cave, well, she did come up to Bumper Cave, but she's going to Lumberjack Cave.
Okay. I said I would have maybe liked to have seen the catfish check as well, just because there's literally no other good time to do it anymore. But at the same time, it is really far out of the way. So if it turns out to be nothing, you know, time saved, and it probably will be nothing. So
Now, I don't think this crossed Pink's mind. She actually could go and do the Smiths right now.
yeah, that's possible. At the same time, there are potentially 2 dungeons over here, which are 5 and 6, that could also warrant being done, as Qairyl gets his hookshot right
Correct.
here. And no,
Bombos.
Bombos. All right then. Yeah, this is the situation now, because again, hookshot, Titansmith, Fire Rod, the entire world is opened up at this point. And it's a case of now, where do you want to go? For like 2 items, maybe 3 at most if we need it as well. Fox. I just saw the bunny's fight from Fox.
That's pretty amusing, yeah.
The sunglasses are awesome. Okay. Alright, maybe Pink forgetting what was on there or just really wanted to be over 1,000 rupees in this one. I don't know.
If anything, it's eventual potion money if necessary, but I don't think it's necessary.
No, I'd be surprised.
We were boots locked.
Yep. Although it was nice with them being as early as were that not really having to worry about that too much.
Yeah, and because of the way she routed this, she can just go right over here to the big chest and then check the rest.
Not lifting the right pot there, but that's fine. If you lift the pot that's to the right of the one she did, to that bottom, oh, I guess 3 o'clock if you're looking at that as a clock thing, you can actually just then dash straight out above the BMO's head, and you can dash straight into the door. So yeah, it's not really like a massive problem. It's more just those sorts of really tiny nitpicks that when you really look into it, it's going, yeah, that is actually going to save the 1-2 seconds maybe in these like really, really tight races. As Qairyl gets his fire rod now as well. He's making absolute sure that the arrow situation is not going to happen again with bombs here, and just picking up some extra ones. No blame on that one.
With the front cleared out, Pink progresses towards Limola's next. I don't remember if there's an item on these guys, though.
We already saw the compass. I didn't actually see what was on the right-hand side, but there was the compass in the middle chest. So if there was...
All right, the map was on right, so...
Okay, yeah, there will be an item here. Ooh. That Beamos was looking a bit spicy.
Yeah, the Beamos and their hitboxes are very weird in this game.
What frustrates me the most is that you can't kill them with anything. Like, if you look at Ocarina of Time, you can use bombs on them. If you look at, I believe it was Wind Waker, you can shoot them with arrows. You can't interact with them at all in this game. And even if you've got the mirror shield, you just can't defend against them either. It's really annoying.
Nope. They just hit you, and they hit you for that fixed one heart, so the mail doesn't even help against them.
Yep, and the knockback is terrible too. Like, you just get sent all the way across the room. And Qairyl's like, oh no, I don't have a key. You don't need it. Man, what is it with these bosses giving shields?
I don't know.
That's 2 now. They're giving you 4 shields.
Yep.
That's one that would make Terra pretty upset because he really hates getting shields.
Yeah. If we'd be 3 for 3, there'd be a riot, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. I've seen Trinex give that shield more often than not, and it's just, why? You can't use it anymore.
Because he was supposed to have it in his dungeon anyways.
Alright, Qairyl's setting up for the blind fight here. No, I don't think I've ever seen blind move that direction from the start. Interesting. Guess it was probably a little bit late in the timing of the first phase.
Might have been. Still fairly good, though.
Yep.
And Pink is going to make a quick potion stop.
Fair enough. It's not much of... Okay, so maybe what's going on with that then is a Fate Powder check before Ice Palace. So...
Or just ice and wants to make sure she's back up.
Yeah, without having the half magic, this is definitely not unreasonable. The last thing you want to do is run out of magic. It's Cold Stare here.
Yeah, with no bombos, you want to back up going into ice, because you need a full magic bar to melt his ice with Fire Rod.
Qairyl, where are you going? This could be interesting. Is he gonna go do Swamp Palace? I've already done this bit, man. Just, okay.
He's forgotten a thing or two that he may have done already.
This is gonna send him further away from those Titansmen, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're in a bad spot. Well, they're in an interesting spot, not necessarily in a bad spot. A bad spot would be the ledge, because everybody hates going over there.
Nope, gonna go for Swamp Palace. This is very interesting.
Well, if Ice Rod or one of our coins is on the pedestal, it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. And they could just be here as well. Swamp Palace by itself has got 6 items. It tends to have something a bit more often in this version, at least in my experience. And it has the green pendant too, which could also end up play. It's definitely an interesting one. Qairyl doesn't really have a particularly good direction other than this to go because of not getting Titansmen. And Skullwoods is a pendant which only has 2 items compared to this pendant having a combined 7. So
it's not necessarily a bad idea because it's a very high quality play. It just has the potential to backfire a fair bit, and he could just be wasting his time.
Yeah, calculated risk.
Very quick first bomb jump.
Yep, absolutely. The nice thing at the moment is there hasn't been a Fire Rod shot wasted, so full magic is what you need by the end, and not having used any extra Fire Rod shots here is still working out pretty well. getting the dodge there too. That's really irritating to set up. Like, I actually learned that from Pink, to be honest, but it's really hard to do. So nice to see just not taking damage off of that thing there.
Nope.
Oh,
He's on the right, so she's gonna bomb jump over, sorry, for the right rather. There's no keys on the left.
is that gonna work? Yeah, okay, just.
Yeah, I find if you stand on the top left corner of that particular area for a bomb jump, similar to how the Paradox bomb jump setup works, the bomb will kind of position itself in such a way that it'll get you across that gap.
Yep, that's the way I taught people to do it. Video stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different positions that work with that. It's mostly just being as close as you can to the gap, and even then, I don't think it has to be completely precise, but mostly just being like horizontally as close as you can is the best way around for it. See the big key before the back part of Swamp here, so this might be the time to do full left.
Yeah,
looks like that's what Qairyl's gonna do.
Interesting that he's going to do it this way and not hit the switch up there to make his routing a little more convenient.
Yeah, it's very easy to muscle memory the push of that though, and just end up flooding the key, which is a little bit nicer in V29 that you don't even have to leave the screen outside of the dungeon to fix it, but it's still a waste of time.
I did not actually know that part of that.
Yeah, it's been changed up a little bit so that the first room that you flood will never drain anymore, so that you never have to press the first one of these. This one here, if you just mirror out the dungeon, will unflood. Okay. And then the last one always stay drained as well. The one that you actually drain the water from, that one will always stay drained too.
Okay, so I do want to note really quick, Pink just found the ice rod in Ice Palace.
Yeah, you always get the feeling this is where it was supposed to be in the first place. And it just, yeah, it kind of figures, because if you're looking at it in terms of what items unlock where, you just got Titan's Mitt Fire Rod, so first place that you think of for that would be here. And going for probably just not getting them here. Going for the sword beam thing here. I think if you manage to time the sword beam correctly with the fire rod, it counts as a fire rod shot, so you don't have to use quite so many on it. But
it's a little precise though.
Hot piece. So it's looking like Swamp Palace might not pay out here. We did have 2 items on left side, but nothing particularly useful. It needs to have bomb bursts in order for this move to pay out here, I think, for Qairyl.
And I believe Pink was counting items there, because she did not go for the big chest, never found the big key. I think there was just a key remaining.
Right, I want to say there was a bomb capacity somewhere at the Hammerlock side. I think I saw a flash of that sort of goldy yellow. And then there was a red ruby, I think, somewhere. So, yeah.
Now, Pink's next directive here is going to be to check Dark Death Mountain.
Yep. Follow the logic here. If you've got the ice rod, that probably means you can do Turtle Rock at this point. So it's only a 1 in 3, but you do have the other stuff that you can check here as well. Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny, if it turns out you need a medallion for TR.
Frequently, too, on these seeds, I've seen the medallion required for T-Rock in, like, Hookshot Cave.
Yes, that is always an interesting one.
So she'll have 6 items to check here, and the important information on Turtle Rock.
Right, but if Turtle Rock is beatable right now, you've got to imagine Pink will just go straight. Well, Bomb Burst is probably better. But no, Bomb Burst for both.
For both. So we are Bombos locked at this point for Go mode.
Right. Qairyl has got to be wondering, where do I even go now?
Where else can this Bombos be? We still haven't done Quakefish.
Yep, The worst one would be your pedestal, obviously, but
Yeah.
we're kind of hoping that isn't the case here. And, well, at least I'm kind of hoping it's not the case. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, chat's probably expected to be there, but
Always sucks when you have to do a, oh, there's actual powder. It always sucks
there
when you
it
have to do...
is.
Nope.
You said it. It's always just
I
there.
did say it. It's so often. I don't know why.
That Barry just like completely in the way. All right, yeah. So the Smith loot was the other thing that hadn't been done,
Yeah.
and we hadn't gotten booked to do the tablets. So
Yep, so... Well, it was conveniently, as it has been several times in this logic when I've seen it, in Hookshot Cave, right next to T-Rock.
so a pretty quick 1 hour 15 go mode here, considering only 2 more dungeons have to be done.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
It's not at all, especially given they had to wait such a long time for lift upgrades.
Right. The only catch at this point is the 2 dungeons to the left. One is super long and one is probably super long. Big key be anywhere. That's the only real catch with that particular go mode. So we're probably still looking at, given an average GT, we're probably still looking around about the 140 still the time here. But
still going to be a while. A Godmire would cut down the time considerably, along with a fast GT big key.
right.
But Turtle Rock in itself being the go mode that's never always go mode, never truly go mode, still takes most of the time it would normally take to clear it.
Right. Meanwhile, Qairyl checking out Zora here. I just gotta be kind of wondering, where else can I go here?
Yeah, he needs to find those bits. The other thing that's keeping him kind of locked up here.
For sure.
Also, did he actually not clear the dungeon?
Yes. I'm not sure. I guess I didn't see it, but yeah,
either.
it's not marked.
I definitely didn't see him turn in green pendant if he had it.
Alright, Big Key is not late into the dungeon here, so that's good.
Yeah, that means there's the potential to skip out on Laser Bridge.
Man, he is not happy about getting nothing off of Zora there. That bomb thrown in did not clear it. Okay.
Oh, and he's now going to Spike Cave too.
Okay.
Because he tried to do this earlier without the glove.
Right. For sure. Oh, chain chomps doing the usual chain chomp thing, getting away a fair bit. Could have been a lot worse, mind you.
No, it could be a lot worse. They could be playing tennis.
I cannot wait for that. To be honest.
It's very amusing, yes. But yeah, Pink is hoping to be able to just take the key here from the Pokey and find one of the remaining 2 chests and not have to go to Laser Bridge.
Nice use of the fire rod, given the distance away from anything relevant there. The bunny beam would have just gone in the way. Oh, Qairyl. That's going all the way there just for 5 is the most secure vault in the world.
Yeah, now he's probably just unsure of what's left.
Yeah, like I was saying, this is one of my favorite spots for Mitts because it's a bit of a puzzle solve situation. But it is also a puzzle. So, it seems kind of obvious, but if you have not really encountered this sort of situation before, it can be very easy to get that you can even do this.
It looks like Qairyl might be on the right track at the very least.
Right, I think what might be happening here is a clear of Skullwood, so we're probably, unfortunately, going to see a Moth kill here as well, because the Fire Rod is available, so...
Yeah...
that would be my worry off of this. But after that, where else are you gonna go? And it looks like Laser Bridge is skippable this time.
Yep,
Good.
no reason to go there. Like, at this point in the sea, too, since Pink also found Powder, the only thing she really would like to see probably is a Butter Sword, but that's not even really all that important.
Yeah, I don't think she would want to see that, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, you have the loadout. You have an ideal loadout for Ganon, and you don't really care.
Yeah, Half Magic wasn't picked up. That's true.
Yeah, that is also true. She does. I know she does like using Fire Rod in Gauntlet with the half magic.
Lady after my own heart. Fire Rod Gauntlet is the best, bar none.
Yeah, I think you've both converted me to that as well. It's too good against those Stalfos.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
cannot.
I don't think it's actually testable saying whether or not it's faster. It is the fastest way through if you have the magic to do it. But most of the time with only single magic, especially if you don't have silver arrows as well, you can't really afford to use the sword, the fire rod quite so willingly.
Liberally,
yeah, liberally. That's the word. It's just got to be a tiny bit careful. But Trinex would two-shot even through red mail for this situation, so just got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, down though.
Straightforward.
She does still have a green potion, but that would not have helped her in this particular instance because she needs health.
Right, it's kind of interesting picking up just the green potion as opposed to the standard blue, but I mean, it's mostly just the distance to walk. Like, you could just dash straight up to the green potion. You actually have to walk in a diagonal for the blue, so it's like the frame saver safeties, I suppose. It's an interesting one that you end up going in with just a green potion because, I wanted to walk just a little bit less.
Yeah. I suppose another weird thing is we've only found that one bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, the seed has not been that forgiving. I mean, Qairyl's on 11 hearts, which is still decent. Pink's only on 12 total, and she went out of her way for a couple of hearts. Remember this right, because she actually went out of her way to get the Zora Ledge heart, which I
know
think
Qairyl skipped out on that. He saved quit soon after the fish did not give him what he was looking for.
Yeah, he
Also,
doesn't have
Qairyl,
enough.
you don't. Yeah.
Oh no! There is magic in the room next to the big key chest. There's a bombable in that room. There's a bombable wall on the right hand side that you can get magic from. That's a full magic too. So, fortunately, it's not going to be anything down here. I think. Actually, no. There might be a small magic in this room. Oh, actually, let's find out.
Have we seen the stun prize yet, by the way?
I don't believe so.
Because that could also be magic.
Magic there. Is that? There's a key door left-hand side there. Is there magic in that room?
There's a couple small pots, I believe, yes. Does he have the magic for Samaria even? I don't think he does.
I don't think so, but
well,
that's
now he does.
One little bit. The one little bit that you need.
Yep.
Oh, and it's a pretty good Mire too. The compass was the first chest, so I was a little bit worried, but that's a pretty good Mire.
Yep, that is you are going straight to the end, Mire. You are going to go shoot 9 eyeballs with 10 arrows. Or is it 10 eyeballs with 11 arrows?
10 with 11, because there's 9 small ones and the large one.
Yeah, it's always hard to remember exactly how many Vitreous has, because he also has a few that aren't targetable onto the slime.
Yeah, there's 4 which are untargetable as well. Too many eyes. Alright, so at least Moth didn't actually have the item, but looks like Qairyl's gonna just go for it anyway. Maybe thinking pedestal at this point. But then if you're thinking pedestal, why not quit? Swamp Palace when you were there. Curious.
It's a bit of a head scratcher.
And also probably just hoping to get some magic here, but there's enough if you use the lamp and the fire rod junction here to do this, but
I imagine, though, even with he does have temperate, so I suppose Moth won't be that big of an issue.
Careful of overusing it.
You have enough still with that miss? Yes, you do.
Yeah. Because if the 4 uses of the lamp drains 1/8 of your magic, so getting 2 pots there, fire rod takes 1/8 per shot. I did not see what was under that explosion from Pitreus there.
No one did.
So I want to say it was probably an arrow capacity then. it was that invisible. Oh, was it Blood Assault? Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
It was yellow at the very least.
It was made yellow by the explosion.
Never mind. Alright. Well, at the very least, it wasn't Mirror Shield, because that would have been a bit more fitting given our boss setup here.
Yeah. Although we do have our 7 crystals, so it's time for our other guessing game.
Yeah, sadly, being on ALTTPR Randomizer, we don't actually have the bot for it, but everybody still loves to guess where the big key is anyway, so get those numbers in, I guess.
Yep, 22 chests in GT. Pick a number 1 through 22 and see if you guess correctly, just for the fun of it. What do I want to guess this time? It always takes me a minute to think about this.
So this is a seed that Pink is playing, so I'm going to say it's in random. Because it's always in random.
Yeah, I was thinking of a number somewhere around there. I think I'm actually going to guess Bob chest today. So 14.
Okay, that works too. Alright, so Qairyl going ahead and getting the chest here as well. Maybe Miss Ganon? Yeah, because they went from the other side, so they'd gotten the bombs out of the prison room first, and I think with that, Qairyl is officially confused.
Yeah, he has definitely missed an aspect somewhere. Well, Pink is entering GT.
Alright. Well, there's still stuff for Qairyl to do in this general area, so hopefully works his way around and gets the mirror stuff up here. It looks like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Alright, never mind. There's 2 items over there. It's on the right side now. That's pretty much the way it works.
That does seem to be the way it tends to happen. Although I think just last night there were 2 items over there and it was on this torch.
Oh!
Okay, I wasn't expecting it to be on the torch again, but okay.
You had to say it. Alright, so that is definitely number 3. And, yeah.
So yeah, fast Mire, fast GT. So still gonna be a sub 140 type.
Yeah,
seed,
this is gonna be really no. I'd be expecting around about a 136 here at this point, with the gold sword too.
Yeah.
That makes the Ganon fight just absolutely trivial.
Well, Qairyl, you're almost in the right spot. Please, just think this through a little bit here.
Yeah, keep it going. Ah, the boy. There we go.
He's figured it out now. Not going to be happy to find these here.
It's a bit of an unfortunate spot that he's put that portal though, because okay, this is one reason, but even if he had successfully gone in, you can see the mirror bonk, because the position of that, when he leaves this grave, that is going to bonk him out if he doesn't end up portal.
That doesn't reset during light and dark transitions, right?
No.
Because that would be very annoying in this particular instance if it did.
It would be. But then, again, I mean, he can just leave here with the flute, I think. Might be able to get away with it. And you see just how annoying these rooms are if you don't have ability to fire rod. I'm actually kind of surprised Pink's not using bombers here. It is now, but
you say as she takes it out.
yeah, but I think that's more just a okay, I give up. You're dying now.
Yeah, that room sucks. I don't think there's really any way to slice it. That room just sucks.
BMOS always hits me if I try and use pots in that room. Like, I can hit the first mini-style first, but then the second one, I always get my pot blasted out of me by a BMOS. So, I'm very bad at that room without Fire Rod.
Yeah. So, Qairyl opting to check the Dark World Death Mountain prior to doing Ice. If he does go into T-Rock right now after finding this medallion, he is going to have to leave for the Ice Rod over in Ice Palace.
Yeah. That would be a little bit unlucky in this one. But then, I suppose it's kind of tough to say with that. Because you're in the sort of position where if you just kind of go for it, there's still so many other places to go that it's tough to really say, oh, I was just unlucky that it wasn't there, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just about not getting both of these in. I think that one in the middle there was not pushable anymore.
Yep. Now, Pink is through the cane rooms. Not too much health left. She did grab another small heart on the way up after the land molas.
This is fine though. She's got powder, so you just have to survive briefly up the top here, and there's not really anything else that can properly damage you at this point.
Yeah, it would be just the random happenstance laser in the next room, which you have to almost intentionally end up in the line of sight of those to get hit by.
Yeah, when you're not going for the magic at the top, yeah. So Qairyl going ahead from Hookshot Cave, getting the powder.
Pink will need the key from this Helmosaur.
Yep, no problem with that.
And yet Qairyl now has his Bombos.
Hasn't actually checked what is on the floating island here, maybe? Or just getting the... Oh, wait, maybe I don't need that. Should really check this first, just to be sure.
It's an expansion, so he really does not need it.
Yep.
Down goes Trolldorm 2. And we will be seeing this chest open.
Well, if it wasn't for if the powder didn't fully heal, that would have, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of neat.
It's honestly one of the best things that you can find in there is something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just 2 fights left for Pink.
Qairyal's in trouble here going into Turtle Rock by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of trouble to be had.
He's looked like pretty solid pan. Yeah, that was a triple from that, I'm pretty sure. Really solid pan here.
Double, then... Yeah, it was probably a triple, and she's only got one hit left here.
Fantastic pan for Aga there.
Yep, very good.
Oh, well, Qairyal's faking us out. Not going for the play here. Going into Mire instead, which is equally as bad, but...
clear Mire, at least.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. So it's not quite as bad. I'm exaggerating, but it's still not the greatest in the sense that, well, we know where the Ice Spot is and it's not there. I don't know. Ice Palace is really something that a lot of players want to avoid, though, so I don't blame him. I don't know if I've seen that one for Ganon before, actually.
Okay, yeah, no, I've seen this one like a couple of times now, but yeah, it's kind of silly. Yeah, Ganon, Buttersword, not much time going to be spent in this fight.
Nope. 6 hits per phase here, and then just the standard phase 3, which is only really annoying if you've got Master Sword because you have to spin it, and then phase 4 are just 4 silver arrows. You really want to look to try and get doubles if you can, but even at that, you know, not that deal. So don't need to get Torch Glitch because you actually want to set him up in the middle. Apparently it's possible to get 4 hits on Ganon with the Gold Sword because you can poke him and then get 4 shots in a row off it. You can get the one one-hit kill basically on him, but I've never seen it personally.
I imagine the window for that is extremely tight.
Oh yeah, that would be incredibly tough to. Qairyl doing desert actually has desert to do as well. There's the double for pink, so that will be that.
That it will be. Poor Qairyl here, he got very thrown off by those mitts.
Yeah, there was a lot of unfortunate spots coming in here, but yep, pink finishing with a time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 44 seconds. OMG indeed. Very solid time there.
Quite solid. I get the feeling we might be able to get a hold of her for an interview. Qairyl will probably still be going for a good, maybe half an hour even at this point still.
Yeah, there's a lot of dungeons still to do. Even after this one is cleared, Mire's still got to be done, Ice is still got to be done, Turtle Rock is still got to be done.
Yeah, and he's going to be checking everything until he knows where that ice rod is, which it's over in ice.
And we have Pink in here. GG to you.
Thank you. Oh, that was sloppy, but I guess I'll take it.
And we have Pink in.
That seems kind of annoying. A lot of bottlenecking due to linearity.
Yeah, quite a bit of it.
Oh, it's just like, hello? Where's the glove? I know this is an Agahnim seat, but where's the glove? Where is it? Plus, this is like a gambler's dream. You could skip like so many things and get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine probably one of the more frustrating parts of this one was the whole Thieves Town versus Skull Woods thing here, of going into Skull Woods, not being able to get all the items, and then immediately seeing Thieves Town has got the fire rod in it and just going, ugh, really?
At that point, I'm just like, nope. There's got to be a time spin around here somewhere else, somewhere. So I just decided to go do the Northern Dark World first instead.
And go figure. Yeah.
Favorite place.
Yep.
I picked up those bits. I kind of looked at them. I wiggled my eyebrows a little bit. And then I finally went to check Lumberjack Cave before anybody else in the audience had a fit about me not looking at it. Oh.
Yeah, this was a frustrating scene. At least nothing ended up on the pedestal.
It definitely had the potential. I was thinking about it because it had all the access, and I'm just like, okay, Thieves Town gave me the fire rod and the hook shot. So we found the ice rod off the fire rod, but that's not enough. So there must be something linked to the hook shot. So I just immediately go up to Death Mountain, see Bombo's there, and it's like, okay, at least it wasn't Swamp, because that would have been where I checked next.
Yeah, Qairyl did check some of Swamp. Doesn't appear to have cleared it all, although did check left side. So interesting on that one. But yeah, there was nothing relevant in Swamp here. And I know we could say, oh, there's never anything in Swamp until there is. But, you know, not this time, thankfully. Those 7 items, a little bit of a lure.
I breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing the ice rod and ice palace. It's just like, oh, good. I don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah, always worried about the ice rod. Your opponent is still working on a lot of stuff. He really got tripped up by those mitts and had a couple other unfortunate deaths throughout the seed.
Oh my god. So, early red mail is not a good thing in my hands. It makes me go into I stop giving them which resulted in almost dying to Agahnim. That would have been tragic.
That would have been very tragic.
Yeah, I kind of did notice you were a little bit low on the old health situation there.
Half the heart!
Yep.
Not only that, but I was too busy trying to get around to the back room for the first orb. Ended up getting hit by the orb and electrified.
So you had another 3 hits to do. Yeah, another 3 blue balls in there.
Freaking, of course, the 2 after the 5th were blue balls. Because why not? Might as well grind it in that you messed up. God, you could have skipped every part of Pod that wasn't the flute. Because all you got back there was the flippers, and they were completely unnecessary this seat.
True, you just needed them for ice, which you could have fake flippered too.
Yeah. You didn't have to do Hera Basement. You could have skipped that. You didn't have to do Spike Cave or like just so much stuff that you could get away with not doing. You didn't have to do Skull Woods in general.
Oh, Qairyl is off to see the fish room here. Very seldom seen Misery Mire room over here.
Yeah, you can actually route the dungeon key-wise without having to come into this room. I guess he doesn't know where all the small keys are.
He doesn't have the ice ride yet, I see. Okay.
Oh, he also didn't get that said small key.
No, he didn't. Is he just getting the switch and walking back to go check that chest right now?
I think so. Okay, so with the big key and a non-small key item at the start, the big chest, I believe, has to have a small key here, if I'm this right. So
right.
It's not necessarily going to punish him for that, and there was a small key which he's immediately just used. Okay. This is going to be a bit unfortunate when you go over this side and go, oh, wait for it. Yeah, I'm going to get this first and then see if this isn't the small key.
Yeah, this is some odd routing through this dungeon. Definitely have not seen
away
this.
With it, though.
Yeah, he is.
So, how, not worried, but how, like, what was going through your head when you saw the shield at blind, and then the second shield later on from a boss as well?
Oh man, I was actually kind of disappointed that he didn't drop the mirror shield, because I mean, he had two other boss equipment shields. Why not the third? Wonder where it was.
That is a good question. We never actually found that.
It's like, oh, Gold Sword. Well, I guess I could use this.
we could barely see that in the initial explosion.
Yeah, I kind of thought it might have been a capacity upgrade, because I figured, well, if I can't see it, it's probably the same general sort of color as the explosion. So I figured that, and then got told, wait, no, it's Gold Sword. Okay, that's a fair bit better than the expansion.
Yeah, our tracker ended up catching that.
Yeah.
Oh my. So, this was one of those times where it felt like the enemy RNG was like out to get me something fierce.
Yeah, you got blocked by a few guys.
Blocked by dead rocks. Things always just charging at me, managing to block things from weird angles. The red horse head and the gauntlet playing Ring Around the Rosie with the BMOs.
You almost got killed by the rats in Escape too, because of not being able to get the small key off of them, right?
Oh, I was fine. I still had a full hard left. That's 4 hits.
Not if you blow yourself up. As
I mean, I'm not going to use kamikaze strats 3 times in a row. I'll just hop bombs afterwards.
Yeah.
I had a lot of spare ones. It's the first time just picking up a bomb immediately and running at the rat didn't work. I was a little slow on it, and that's the only reason why, because the fuse didn't go off fast enough.
It's really hard to actually do that consistently, though, because even if you do try and set the bomb up early, if he's just not in the right position, like if he ends up in the top left corner and you've set the bomb early, you're not reaching him in time. If you don't like set the bomb early enough and he decides to charge straight at you, then don't really have the setup for it. That it's awkward to be consistent with that thing.
I've gotten it to work from any position, so that's why I was a little sad that I was a little too slow on it this time. Because it's been working consistently for me. Oh, the first card didn't really work out either. It didn't get bonked the right way, and then the first bomb missed. It's just like...
Yeah.
I was amused, however, that the uncle doesn't just give you 10 bombs. He just fills whatever your current capacity is, so he got 15.
Yeah, we actually discussed that.
It's like, oh, it's like version 29.1 all over again.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny you mentioned it that way, because 29.1 is when they introduced if you get the bombs from Uncle, you get the first capacity for free as well. But if you then also got the 5-bomb capacity at the start, you would start with 20 bombs instead of 15. So it's a thing that's happened like every time, basically, in all of these.
Oh,
And even the second time around, I still couldn't see that gold sword in the explosion here.
I could vaguely see the outline. It's not an easy tell.
Just about see the hilt, and that was about it.
Yeah.
well, I can safely say one thing though. Early boots. Precious.
Yeah, that was a nice
Precious.
little blessing. Although the Moon Pearl being right there as well for water walk purposes was a little inconvenient in ways.
I didn't bother. At that point, it's just like, oh, I'm sure Flippers or Flu will come up.
I mean, Zora also wasn't in logic for the longest time because you didn't have a glove or the flippers.
Yeah, that was a weird start. It's like I've only been bottlenecked that hard by gloves a couple of times. It's just like, where's the gloves? Oh, they're in Harem Pig Chest. Okay.
Funnily enough, this is like the third seed I've done commentary for, and all 3 of them have had that sort of bottleneck to them. So
It makes the start so linear. It's like all you can do is clear out the light world and then go Aga and then desperately try to find where the sticking point is.
Yeah, whereas this has been like the 4th or 5th seed I've commentated, potentially even in a row, where Turtle Rock's medallion has been in Hookshot Cave.
Both Mire and Turtle Rock like to have their medallions just hanging out next to them. It's like people keep on putting their spare keys under the mat.
Qairyl thankfully did decide to go into ice prior to T-Rock. He will get his ice rod and be able to finish this out.
yeah, we were getting worried for a sec when he was actually mirroring away a little bit and actually opening up Turtle Rock. I was thinking, right as you were finishing, I was going, oh no, he's going to go in there and he's going to be very sad. There's nothing useful there. But no, he's managed to avoid that pitfall.
I see he also hasn't found another bottle yet.
No,
that was so weird. 1 bottle seed.
It's like I picked up a green potion because I didn't trust myself versus Cold Stare, and that was about it.
Yeah, I was a little bit curious as to why you picked up the green one instead of the blue one there, actually.
Because I wasn't gonna die. It's fine.
Yeah. I guess in short, the seed was all bottleneck and no bottle.
That is one way of putting it, yep.
Help! So a neck that's shaped like a bottle, that must be really inconvenient.
Oh yeah, probably.
Just you wait until I get cross-product in one of these.
Oh boy. Oh well. I'll let you guys do this one. Thanks for the commentary and getting everything all put together. Hopefully my next scene I won't find magical ways to almost die and get hit by pretty much every enemy that ever existed.
Yeah, because you're going 2-0 here, so it's going to be quite interesting seeing who shows up next week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, both my scenes so far have been sub 140, so that's nice.
Good
That's
collection
far better
count.
than my start.
Good collection count this seed too. Only 142.
Yeah. All because I'm just like, there's not gonna be anything in Swamp. It's been open for ages. Progress is taking me elsewhere, right? Thankfully, that didn't bite me this time. It could happen next time.
Very easily.
Very, very easily. Oh, again, there's fallacy. All right. See you later, you two.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
All right, so Qairyl, like with the rest of the seed, has not done the bomb jump here, but it's not going to matter because Kane Samaria is already, possession. Although, don't have a potion, so that magic is actually going to be very problematic at this point.
Qairyl has had a couple of mishaps this seed already with forgetting his inventory counts. He may have a magic issue this time.
Sorry for having the interview muted there at the end. It's just that.
Yeah, I think we need to switch over.
Yeah, switch audio.
Yeah.
voice? Like, they actually still have my audio going during the interview, so we were getting, like, doubled voices on the restream, and that was just no good.
It's okay. This is one of those things of it. If I do this at the end as well,
Yeah.
just end up giving a quick talk of.
Yeah, you go back to talk to the people you were streaming for who were watching, and
Yep,
it'll show up on the restream if audio doesn't get switched.
it's not that big a problem.
No,
But
thankfully not.
yeah, it's just been one of those weird ones though, as if it's saying that there's just not that nice finding the ice rod. That should be going better than that, but still need a small key to get through here at this point. But yeah, this just been one of those weird seeds where you really have just been sort of stuck in doing one, and for the most part, there hasn't really been a huge amount of ways to diverge in that route. Not that didn't just get super punished, in the very least.
Meantime,
Yeah.
since I'm fairly still audible on the other side,
So-
I think this is the point where I sign off.
Yeah. Oh,
it
It seems to be one of those sort of things with 29 where you do end up getting a lot of seeds that have like one item leading to somewhere that it unlocks, getting the next couple of things. But you've always got to be careful kind of going with that, like, and committing to it too much, because you end up in the situation where you just don't actually get what you need because the chain ends somewhere. And it's like one of those items that you got was supposed to give you multiple things to progress to the next bit. And that kind of happened here with the hookshot and fire rod together. But not until the very end of this, basically.
Yeah.
Alright, there's your small key, because yeah, Qairyl actually does need to open... he doesn't have enough small keys for this, right? Because he's going to need to open the room on the right-hand side, too. Or I guess Bombos is usable.
He has Bombos, he has the Cane of Samara for this block. He doesn't need that last key that Cold Stare has. Or the big
Okay.
chest.
Right, because Pink came in here before getting Bombos. That was the key difference here. But with Bombos in hand, even if you don't have any magic going into this last bit, you do still get enough, because Bombos takes a quarter magic to use. So even if you go into this room with literally nothing, you can still get across this no problem using that. Yeah.
Yeah, with Bombos, he can just crack the shell right open, no worries about his magic.
It was actually very surprising to me the first time that I did that. It was because I had heard that you could use Bombos to do this, because that's one of the things which is on the site of the things to get that you get stuck with. You know, try this instead. It's like, don't have a fire rod to do Ice Palace? Bombos makes plenty of fire. So I was like, okay, you can melt the freezers with it. How does it do against Cold Stare? Oh, wow, it actually just melts it in one shot? That's really good.
Yeah, it's the method of choice most of the time if you have it.
Yeah, if you are remotely concerned about your magic for the Fire Rod, whether it be because you've got, like, maybe only Fighter Sword or even a Master Sword, and you want to have some Fire Rod shots for Cold Stare, or if you just don't Fire Rod, I guess, which I don't know if we can be friends if you don't like the Fire Rod, but if you don't, then, you know, using Bombos is definitely good. It's just slow. Like, it takes at least 9 seconds to cast the actual thing, and then, dead rocks. And then you've still got to kind of deal with the melting afterwards. The Fire Rod is just a lot faster, which is why you don't tend to see Bombos used if there's a choice.
Yeah. It's convenient, but it's not fast.
Right, and that's what Bombos in a nutshell is: convenient but not fast.
Yes.
That's pretty much the tagline for Bombos, because it's very good at clearing just about every room that you could want to, because it tends to one-shot everything, but it does it in the slowest, most painful manner possible. Which
You have a long cutscene. You now need to wait for all these enemies to burn in fire. Okay, now you can move on.
I mean, it's kind of good if you're masochist, I guess. I don't know, because you just like watching everything slowly burn. But you know, For us speedrunners, not quite so good.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the objective is to go through these seeds as quickly as possible.
Right. Yeah, and Aether is the faster alternative if it can actually kill the enemies in general. Which it can. Not always, but there are quite a few that it can deal with. Mini Stalfos is a pretty good one. Mini Moldorm actually is something it can kill, which is really good.
Gyptos.
Gyptos is a lesser known one, which is pretty good. Just trying to think, is there anything else? No, most everything else it just kind of freezes. It can kill Wizrobes, but you generally don't see that used. The only time you might see that used actually is if you don't have Cane of Samaria going up GT, because you could use Aether instead to kill the Wizrobes in those rooms, and as a bonus, you get to see the floor in that room too.
Yeah, that is the vanilla intended way of seeing the floor in that room, is by using the Aether Medallion. I don't believe there's actually a torch in that room.
There is not, no. So that and Hookshot Cave is the other place that you would actually use Aether to see the floor. Although, as a kid, I don't think I realized... no, I did realize, but I didn't realize that you could get through that floor maze fast enough. So the floor would disappear halfway through every time I did it. So I had to use Aether to actually see the floor going up the last part, because I'd light the torch, probably with the lamp, because I didn't fire rod, about 6 at the time. And, just I knew about the Aether thing because I'd seen, I think I'd seen my mum do that, or I'd read about it or something, Aether feel the floors. So when it came to actually getting through the last part of that, it's just, I need to just move like 3 steps, use Aether, get to the next couple of tiles, use Aether again. I went through so many potions going in that bit.
I can imagine.
Yeah, Chanchums, please be kind. Just out the way, please. Qairyl suffered enough in this seed. He doesn't need you going in this as well.
Yeah, Qairyl's had several unfortunate things happen in this seed. He probably wants this done as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
And getting tagged by the anti-fairy down the stairs.
Yeah, that one's actually kind of weird, because if you just move in a straight diagonal, then you actually get hit by it pretty much every time. But if you move right and then down, so you move in like right angles, you don't get hit by it. And it's kind of weird, and I'm trying to work out why. I wonder if you just get like stuck on the stairs or something. And so you end up not moving cleanly enough for it.
Yeah, something like that probably.
Yep, getting the powder out. Oh, gonna open this anyway. Hopefully this is a small key then. Because we never had to see this before. It's not, although it's pretty good in comparison.
Yeah, he will definitely appreciate having that blue bottle.
The catch is that the trade-off for that is you've now got to go and do Laser Bridge. And it's actually kind of good knowledge there, knowing that there's a full magic there. This is the longer way round, because you've got to go all the way through this room again. But when you're that low on magic, it's actually kind of worth it.
Yeah, he did need a magic refill pretty badly, because he was going to need to use Samaria again to traverse more platforms in a couple rooms. Yeah,
and the last race I commentated on actually kind of came down to losing magic here, and just like running out of magic and not being able to use the Cane of Samaria block for going up here, and just not realizing that in time.
Yeah. Since we are at the small lull here, waiting for Qairyl to finish up. If you did enjoy what you saw from Pink and Qairyl here today, make sure you give them a follow on Twitch. They would appreciate the support.
Absolutely, and shout outs to Qairyl here for trucking on through this. This has not been a particularly kind seed, and
Oh, definitely.
it's shows a great deal of tenacity to just keep on going through with this, even it just has not treated them kindly in the slightest.
Yeah. It's definitely frustrating when this kind of seed, when this stuff happens in particular. So definitely good on him for seeing it through to the end.
Alright, so hopefully here we see a pickup of the hearts on the other side of this. Getting the hook shot out. There's the full magic and 2 hearts on the right hand side there. But I guess if you're not going to take damage by using the hook shot here, that's a pretty close second to it. Because you're effectively saving those 2 hearts there. And
All right, so where's this key?
oh, hopefully quickly, because that magic isn't going to last long. There we go.
Oh, well, very convenient.
At least it was a quick chat. So, yeah, going to take the safety door. Probably thinking a little bit better off of going with this outside it, because like 4 hearts, you can get the powder here, but it's still probably for the best that you this door, just in case the worst happens.
Yeah. And even with that blue goo, it's still a good safety.
Sure. You know, the one nice thing about the way that this is rooted out for Qairyl, though, is that this is his final dungeon. So there wasn't any need to go back off of Death Mountain at the end of it all. So going straight up into GT after this is going to be quite nice.
Yeah, he also, as a contrast, is going to have a Butter Sword for Trinex.
Yeah, which does make it a little bit safer. Not necessarily quicker, but it can do 0 side. I don't expect we'll see this here.
Yeah, I don't expect to see it either. There's definitely been instances this tournament where it's been possible, but no one I've seen yet has attempted it.
Every time I do, I always end up getting hit in the spikes, so I just haven't tried it again.
It's just flashy for flashiness' sake, and it is slightly faster. But other than that, this is still relatively quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Trinex is in a little bit of an awkward spot when it comes to getting the quick kill here, but standing at the side, that's not going to play anyhow.
Well, he only needs 3 hits with a gold sword, so...
Yeah, it's so nice having that there.
If there was a boss you want to have this level of sword for, it's this one, just so he doesn't catch you by surprise at any point.
Right. The other one being Cold Stare, because Cold Stare literally just melts in front of the gold sword. It's very satisfying to just instantly down that thing by spinning it into the corner.
Yeah, it's cathartic, because he can sometimes be a very frustrating boss for runners.
Yeah, especially if you have to do it on low resources like Master Sword only. That is not something that is particularly well practiced unless you are gunning for it specifically, because when you do NMG, you have Tempered Sword from after Thieves Town onwards, so most of the tough stuff in the game you'd have Tempered Sword for, but that's not anywhere close to always the case in Randomizer.
I mean, you could also end up going into Ice with just Fighter Sword and have to use Hammer against him.
You can go into Ice with no sword whatsoever and into it.
Yeah.
Because I think in open mode I have done that a few times. Ice has been one of the 5 crystals picked up with no sword. It's just yeah. I still await that seed where all 4 swords are in random. Because it is possible. And it's just I'm waiting for that seed. We're gonna see Tower in here? Looks like it. Okay. This is going to be really annoying if there's a small key there. And it's like, oh, no, actually, probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I think he realized, oh, right, I don't have a key.
Yeah, there's probably a small key in that chest, to be honest. The one that comes up at the end of that, there is probably a small key in there.
Well, he'll at least be relieved to see the big key right here.
Doesn't look like relieved is quite the emotion being displayed here.
No, it doesn't, so...
Also,
as long
good
as he gets this
foresight.
key.
Okay, I guess looking at the Starverse room to get an extra one, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe he's not entirely sure about the key that's normally on the Helmosaur in that room. Just wants to be absolutely safe.
Yep, there we go.
Now
That's
he'll go.
exactly what it was. Yep. Yeah, because honestly, this is another thing that I've seen decide several races, more so in the first tournament, like the first few weeks of that tournament. But this is another thing that I've seen decide a lot of races, is when somebody goes up the tower with no keys, doesn't realize it, and can't actually finish. And it's like, oh no, what have I done?
I actually commentated a seed just last night where one of the runners did that exact thing and forgot to grab the key after getting the key on the torch.
Oh my.
And he still won, but it's because he had like a 6-second lead, not 6 seconds, 6 minutes lead on his opponent.
And that's almost all of the time that it would take to go back up the tower, so...
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting development when that happened.
For sure. So, the strategy that Qairyl was trying to employ there does work if you have Mirror Shield. Because Mirror Shield can block the fireballs. That's actually what I tend to do with it. Is just go like straight up into that room, the Mimic gets stuck against a block, and then you just charge at it, or let it charge at you, basically, shooting the arrow. And the Mirror Shield blocks the shot. You kill the first one. The second one is pretty easy to sort of lure in at that point as well. But without the Mirror Shield to block the fireball, you can't really get the bow shot off in time. Ooh. I was thinking that might have actually ended up hitting him again and killing him the side there. But
He's definitely going to go for safety now. Or not.
No, he did, but he didn't turn. He turned around first. He didn't think.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I know what happened there. He was too close to the edge, so his dash got eaten because he was still holding the put. If you are holding a direction when you are like right at the edge of a pit, your dash just doesn't dash at all. This got me for the longest time actually when I was looking at the like just starting this. I was going, how do you get that dash in Tower of Hera with like floor 4 or whatever, where you dash below the pit? And it's the same in GT in like after Rando Room when you're going towards Ice Armos. There's a pit at the bottom that you just dash along, and it's like, how do you do that? That's not working for me. And it's because I was holding forwards the whole time as well. If you hold the direction, it doesn't actually let you get the dash properly.
Yeah, I think it was this room we were talking about with the mimics just earlier. Typically that lower mimic, I've actually gotten him lodged between those two skulls and his shot's been blocked by them.
Ugh, that's also really annoying.
No, like his shot gets blocked, mine connects.
Oh, you can shoot through the pots then, huh? That's not something that usually comes.
I think it's usually that the hitbox for his beam is hitting the pot, but his actual hitbox is still low enough to where I can snipe him just below the pot.
Oh.
It's a sneaky little way of doing it. It just happens to work for me.
Come on, Qairyl, you can do this. Alright, just come straight up this time.
Yep, gauntlet time.
I mean, that safety room is surprisingly difficult to get to if you don't know about like turn dashing. When you initiate your dash and then you change which direction you're facing before the dash executes. It's actually kind of difficult to get in there without that, because you need to be right near the edge and then not be holding any direction when dash forward. This Beamos is giving them a lot of trouble there.
As is the Stalfos.
Yeah. This is where I would just bring Bomb Burst out. And it looks like the blue potion's going to get brought out instead. That also works. Even if you do Bomb Burst, doesn't necessarily keep you safe from the Beamos.
Although the Beamos would not have killed him at the health he was at.
No. It would be down at half a heart going into this room.
True.
Ugh.
That was a narrow dodge.
This always gets really annoying when you get stuck through this room. There's barely any way of dodging the Beamos in that's entirely ice. So there's a little bit off in vertical position there.
Yep.
Just slightly too early with that. Oh, didn't quite get the second slash off either. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the third cycle of the worms.
Still far from the worst fight there.
Yeah. Sometimes that can just go to mass disarray and it takes like 5 cycles to kill all the worms.
Especially if you're committed to shooting. How did that one not get hit? Okay. Still, if you're committed to shooting with the arrow and then you just get a bunch of short hops and you just never get the shot off, that is incredibly tilting. Not that I'm talking from experience.
I had to kill the last Wizrobe in this room as well. Couldn't quite get into the position to go kill it.
Nicely through the room that always seems to get patched to make sure that it never works for you. Doesn't seem to matter what pixel you stand on for that. There's always a chance that you're actually just going to get hit in that room.
Yeah.
There are some which are more consistent than others. Actually, dashing straight up the middle is like the least consistent one, but it seems to work better if you have Gold Sword for whatever reason. I think actually is because I remember hearing this in one of the recent commentaries that apparently Gold Sword is actually slightly wider than every other sword. So that's probably why that room works a bit better in that case. Because if you have the Gold Sword and it's a wider weapon, there's more chance that it just pushes them out of the way, or just like, you know, doesn't let you get hit by it. So kind of weird how that works out, but hey, sometimes Gold Sword is actually just a little bit better.
It makes sense, given the power upgrade the sword has. It does make some sense.
Alright then. So... Oh, and that's the worst place that Sparky could get trapped as well. Doing its best Zoomer version right there.
Yep.
Although I'm not causing too many issues here. And a heart refill as well. That's also pretty good. I was wondering when the other heart piece didn't refill him if that was going to be enough. And it was, so okay.
Yeah, so I guess there was like a... I think there was probably a heart container of cheese.
When you have ice plus bumpers, the recoil can get pretty manic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I was going to mention, I guess he found a heart container in Swamp that Pink didn't, and that's probably the main difference.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he would actually have needed to find 2. He was... Whoa, that was a really well done triple. Yeah, he got 1 less in the overworld, right? But he didn't get the Zora one, so...
Yeah. So I guess there were 2.
It's either that or there was 1. No, it was money that was in Mire. The big key chest. Yeah, good Aga 2 fight.
Yeah, pretty good. Just has Ganon remaining.
Yep. And with the old gold sword silvers, this shouldn't be too much of a problem here.
Nope, can kind of just take his time, confident there's probably nothing that's going to go wrong very easily here.
The only catch is he used his blue potion, so he doesn't have any safeties of any sort here, so he does have to be a little bit careful regarding the fire bats.
Yes, a little bit. As he learns about hot air balloon travel.
Constantly surprised that when they add just more of them in, and it just some of the really bizarre facts that they come up with that as well. It's just really good. I think the heaviest cheese one is probably the most out there for me.
The one where he mentions the grains or multi-grains too was another weird one.
Yeah, we gotta watch that fire bat. Didn't get hit, which was good. Just, yeah, you gotta watch them for them sneaking an extra cycle in there, because the bats will always knock you in the opposite direction to the one that you're holding, and they knock you back really, really far. So I've seen some incredibly wacky and experienced some incredibly wacky knocks into the pit, these things, and the best thing to do is to just not hold a direction, because then you don't get knocked back anywhere. But it's really kind of hard to do that on the fly. Like predict like that, predict that you're actually going to get hit.
Just gotta deliver one more arrow into Ganon. Oh
yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Your instinct is to move away from the pit, so they knock you in the opposite direction and knock you into the pit, and it's really, really annoying.
Well, he's gonna have to do that again. And he has a fairy he can grab, but
he's out of magic, basically.
That's not gonna fix his magic problem.
So this is a point where you would have to get Torch Glitch, basically, and you have to do it precisely. You can't really spend a bunch, although this is actually somewhere where that tree reward could come in. I mean, green tier is small magic. The bottom, you think he's just realized the magic situation. Yep, nothing going. So the bottom left, or the leftmost statue thingy there, actually is a pull item. So he could pull it, get the bombs from the blue tier, kill like one enemy, screen transition, come back, get some magic. Don't know if it'd actually be faster than getting the potion with the flute here, but you know.
Yeah, he may as well just grab it, some safeties, and his mirror portal's not going to matter. He's just going to go back through the gate.
Right. I'm also fairly sure he doesn't know about that pull tier, because I know Pink got it, but I'm pretty sure Qairyl did.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much of a reason to do that in this case, but it's just one of those quirky situations where you can imagine if the blue tier was magic instead of the green tier, that would be really helpful for that spot, because you'd just be able to grab the magic on the way when you get in the fairy and then just go back up the pyramid and be fine.
Yeah. Well, he'll go to fight Ganon again. Wish we could say second verse same as the first, but if you actually fall to Ganon, your fight does change somewhat.
Yes, because the RNG for boss battles is fixed, at least for Ganon and Agahnim, is fixed between seeds. So you'll get the same number of blue balls in the same order. You'll get the same number of teleports and stuff in the same order. That's why you always see the Aga 2 fights being the same as well. But the RNG here will have advanced further forward, because we have had those first 4 hits. We've had all the teleports associated with them. This is now effectively step 5 in this setup here. Step 5, step 6 at this point. So we don't know how many teleports are going to come up at this stage. It could just be 0 for all of them, or it could be 15 or something in this one. The highest I've seen in one particular round was 11, but then that happened multiple times in that teleport set, so And then, of course, there's that infamous one of in actual vanilla NMG where Andy got like 36 teleports or something in one phase.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it didn't look like he got too many teleports there, and he did get Torch Glitch this time, so that will make life easier.
Just one more shot to go, and there it is.
There we go.
Tough life, but kudos to sticking it out, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So GG to Qairyl, finishing this with a time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 50 seconds. Yeah, so that was a bit of a wild one. Once again, Glove being an awkward thing to find.
Yeah, quite.
Should we see if we can get him in real quick?
We can if he's available.
A second. Oh, that awkward moment when I was going to respond to him in the SRL, this SRT chat, and I'm not actually logged in, so it won't let me type in. Whoops.
Yeah, that happens.
I mean, sure, we could do. There are a bunch of them that are coming up. Refresh this old schedule here and see, because there are lots of matches coming up.
Yeah, given it's still in Swiss stages early, you're going to see a lot of races every day. There weren't as many on Monday because it was the first day of the new round.
Right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races going on at the moment that started off about 25 minutes ago, almost. Yeah, a bunch of stuff there. There's a couple. There is actually one that's supposed to be restreamed here just after we're done. So that is Trident Tail versus Ice Blue. That is still hopefully going to be restreamed here. Killer App versus At the Boca should be going on at the moment on SG4, as well as Liminality Card versus Zelness TV on Speak 1. It's going on.
Alright, looks like Qairyl is in the waiting room.
Alright. Let's bring him on in. Yo, Qairyl, GG. It's definitely a tough lie on that one. That seed was not very nice.
Not nice might be a little bit of an understatement.
Definitely a tough lie on that one. That seed was not very nice.
I don't even know what went wrong. I saw her finish with an hour and a half, and I thought, what on earth?
Yeah, you got held up by those Titans mix for a while.
Yeah. I think I went dungeon crawling too early.
Yeah, you got held up by those Titans mix Swamp was at least a good idea, like quantity-wise, but it didn't end up panning out in this instance.
Yeah, maybe just a touch. Swamp was at least
you had a rough time this seed.
Yeah. I have never had a seed where I start with nothing but bombs and not die several times in escape.
Makes sense.
It is quite a difficult thing to do for sure. That's one that I think I did fire up on the practice hack a few times just to see, okay, how feasible is this if we're going to be, if we're going to have to start with bombs here? How possible is it to do? Is there any sort of strategy I can come up with to actually make it easier? And it takes quite a bit of practice to actually make it, work really well. So it's no shame in taking the hit there, that's for sure.
Except for that, I think I did okay for me, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Were there any parts of this you particularly enjoyed, or was it just, not niceness the whole way through, I guess? I don't know, was there any part of this that you actually thought was neat?
Well, it started getting good after I found the flute, and it got a lot better after I finally found mitts.
You also got those early boots.
Yeah, that was fun.
So, Swamp Palace in general then, did you finish that? You didn't finish that, did you?
I got all the items. I did not fight Argus.
Okay, right. That explains it. Yeah, because they were still wondering halfway through. It's like, do you get the thing? Because it was Green Pendant, so I was expecting to see that turned in. We were hoping that would have been pompous, because that would make things a bit more fun, shall we say, with both dungeons requiring that. But
Yeah, after a little bit, I started to worry about maybe I should have hurried. Maybe I should have gone ahead and finished Swamp, because I already had both of the other pendants. I was starting to worry it was going to be a ped seed.
yeah, it looked like it could have been, especially after that Thieves Town giving the other two items you need for it.
Yeah, like that glove and the ice rod, they both could have been on that pedestal.
Yeah, I think if I hadn't found mitts where I did, I'm not sure what I would have done then.
Yeah, I have to say that's one of my favorite item locations as a whole in this game, seeing it there, because it's just a little bit of a puzzle thinking of that. It's like you're not supposed to get in here without the mitts normally, but it is possible, so it's just really fun seeing it there. But yeah, it can be frustrating when you look everywhere and then it ends up being there and it seems really obvious after you get it.
Yeah, I really should have checked the graveyard area sooner. So
Yeah, that was actually one of the first things that Pink ended up doing when she was done with Thieves, is she went straight to North Dark World.
Yeah, I think I ended up going south.
Yeah, you did. And I think you were, I guess it was just not remembering that you had to go get the bow off of the Stump Kid and whatnot at the time, because I remember seeing you checking that again and going, oh wait, I've already done this. What am I doing?
Yeah, I forgot that I had already gone to Stumpy.
Yeah, I've had those moments so many times myself, so it's heartbreaking seeing it happen to people, but it's one of those of, I feel for you. I know that pain very well. Just, what am I doing going back here?
It's the forgetful, just like a tiny forgetting thing like that. It happens to the best of us. Everybody has an instance where they're like, did I check this? I should double check that I checked this.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
anything else you want to add before we sign off here?
I've got a whole lot of practicing to do.
Yeah, you're going to be 1-1 at this point, so good luck to you on the remainder of the tournament.
Hopefully I can get the sub 2 for once.
I'm sure you will if you keep going with this, because there was definitely points here where I could see, yeah, sub 2 is happening at some point. Just stick with it, man. hopefully I'll see you in future races here.
Well, I'm definitely sticking this tournament out.
Right, well, that'll pretty much wrap it up for us. Apologies for holding up the schedule a little bit here, but yeah, we have so many matches here, and I think, is it saying Ice? Is it Ice Blue? Yeah, Ice Blue versus Trident Tail is supposed to be going up now. So I don't actually know who is commentating that one, but hopefully we have most of the setup done here. So thank you guys for watching this race. Hopefully you have enjoyed it as much as we have. And until next time, this has been Gamer Gal,
And I've been Buckshabu24.
and we'll see you for more Rando pretty much right now.
I will also note real quick, shout out to our tracker Wolf Link and to our restreamer No Name 4444 for getting this done for us.
Absolutely. There's so much volunteer work going on here. Without it, there's just no restream, no races. So, yeah, awesome stuff. All right, take care, everyone.
Yep, take care.
Sorry, I was slow.
No, it's not your fault. I'm not meaning it that way.